Chef Herman, the culinary arts instructor at Region 3 here in Lincoln. And it's the holiday season, isn't it? We got all kinds of great things happening at our holiday table. But I have to tell you, a lot of people get sick this time of year because food is not handled properly. I just want to take a couple of minutes to go over a few simple steps and make sure that your holiday meal is perfect and nobody goes and gets sick on you. First thing we want to talk about is thawing food. There's 4 ways to thaw food properly. One, and the best method possible, is to leave it in the refrigerator for several days, whether you're thawing your turkey or your ham, or whether it's the leftover stuffing or leftover turkey. In the refrigerator, underneath that condition, for a couple of days' time until it's thawed is the best way to thaw food. Another way to thaw food is under cold running water. Come on over here. When we're thawing this product from the frozen state, it's really important to make sure it's submerged in running water. It's important that the water continues to run so we break the surface tension, that the food, whatever it is that we're thawing, is not sitting in standing water. When it's standing in standing water like this, bacteria can grow, especially as the temperature of the water rises. It's very advisable to allow a small trickle of water just to break the surface. You do it inside of the sink in case it overflows, and then you're going to be okay. Another way to thaw food is in your microwave oven. Now there's really important special rules about thawing food in the microwave oven. What's that? You need to cook it immediately. So if you pull something out of your freezer and you stick it in your microwave oven and you thaw it, you need to cook it right away. No waiting around for that. Don't stick it back in the cooler. Another way to thaw food properly, the 4th way of thawing food properly, is to thaw it during the cooking process. So just taking a piece of frozen food and then cooking it off. Now certain foods are going to cook better frozen than others, and so it's up to you to determine which one's going to be best. But now, a lot of times people get sick because too many people are invited to the party. And I'm not just talking about your Uncle Bert either. I'm talking about this party right here, this cutting board. A lot of people get sick because of cross-contamination. They use the same cutting board to cut their ham on as they do their turkey, or maybe even their vegetables. So it's really important to make sure you use separate cutting boards when using raw meats and vegetables. Don't get any cross-contamination. We want to make sure that's nice and clean. If you only have one cutting board, you need to wash and sanitize your cutting board with a little bleach solution before you use it again on raw foods. So no cross-contamination, please. Usually about this time of the year, this is the bird of choice. It's a turkey. Gobble, gobble. Now, it's really important to understand that we need to cook this to a minimum internal cooking temperature. What does that mean? We need to make sure it's fully cooked before we eat it. And how do we do that? We use one of these. It's called a probe thermometer. You may also buy a turkey that has an instant thermometer in there. Go ahead and use that. I'm sure it's calibrated just right. But if you want to be sure, you would go out and get yourself a commercial grade thermometer to check the temperature of your turkey when it's done. How do we know when it's done, you say? 165 degrees is the minimum internal temperature of the breast. When you feel that it's done after your cooking time, you would simply just insert your probe thermometer into the thickest part of the breast to determine the doneness. In addition to that, you would also into the inner part of the thigh, close to the body, near the bone. We're looking for a minimum internal cooking temperature to be safe now of 170 degrees Fahrenheit. So 170 for my dark meat. I like to go 165 for my breast meat. And how do you do that without drying it all out? Well, at my house, what we do is we cook our bird upside down. We put the breast meat on the bottom to allow all the moisture to stay close to the breast and allows the upper dark meat to cook a little bit quicker. That's just how I do it. I'm sure you got a great way of doing it too. What's really important is when you're done with your meal and you're ready to sit down and watch the football game is that you make sure your food is being cooled properly. We need to bring it down to a temperature of less than 70 degrees in 2 hours and 41 degrees in a 4-hour period. So it's a total of 6 hours to cool your food down. Plenty of time to watch the game. But if you have a large roast, say half of a turkey left, it's really important to cut that turkey into smaller pieces so it cools properly. If you're serving a soup, maybe you put it in an ice bath to cool it down even more. Remember, bacteria grows well in the food temperature danger zone, and that's from 41 to 135 degrees Fahrenheit. If your food is sitting in that temperature zone, bacteria is growing, so it's really important to cool it down quickly. It's also important not to put hot foods in your refrigerator. In efforts to cool it down quickly, you certainly don't want to raise the temperature of your cooler or your refrigerator at home by putting something hot in there. And that next day after, the day after Thanksgiving, while everyone's out shopping and you want to stay home and warm up some turkey and some stuffing all by yourself, well, it's really important to know that when you reheat food, you need to get it to 165 degrees minimum internal temperature. You want to kill that bacteria, you want to make sure you're not going to get sick. 165 degrees is your reheat temperature for everything that was on the Thanksgiving table. Thanks for joining me. I'm glad you had a good time. Maybe we'll see you again around Easter. Have a happy holiday.